Hello everyone, it's Ash. I'm from the Encrypted Angel system. What's up? And I'm here to talk to you guys about dysphoria, parenting, and D.I.D, etc. All right, well, welcome back. So, again, my name's Ash. I'm from the Encrypted Angel system. What's up? I have some tea with me and my vape. So I wanted to talk to you. This video was actually originally asked for me to do by another system, which you guys may or may not know, Multiplicity and Me. If you guys are watching, what's up? So thank you, by the way, for the inspiration for this. Dax is very excited that I finally agreed to do this video, and here we are. So, all right, so on with it. So what is dysphoria? First, I'm going to talk about that, which I'm already experiencing some, because just looking at the camera is like looking at the reflection in the mirror. I don't identify with this body and never have. I don't look like this. I'm not female. I'm a male person, and I'm a male in our system, and yeah, so I am experiencing a little bit of that, and I'm also really nervous. So talking about the kids when they were younger, trying to focus. All right. So when we first found out that we were pregnant, we were really happy, of course. So all of us were happy about the pregnancy. For anybody that does have gender dysphoria, you know how awkward it is to have the wrong parts, basically. So gender dysphoria is when you just feel very disconnected from the gender assigned body and what those roles are and things assigned to that gender, etc., etc. Like, for example, being in a female's body and being pregnant. I personally was out as little as possible during the pregnancy. I would come out, like, if the body was sick, because I'm also the medic of our body, so I took care of it a lot. So if something was going on, like some kind of illness, sickness, no injuries happened or anything. Although with our oldest, which you've seen her in some of the other videos, there was a scare. We were put on bed rest about 2 months in to the pregnancy because we had 2 miscarriages before that, and the body got very violently ill, and the doctors were scared that the body might become so sick that we might miscarry again. So we were put on bed rest for the rest of the pregnancy, which really sucks. Basically, we were to do as little activity as possible. Like, they really wanted us just in bed and only get up if we had to use the bathroom or something. But, we didn't exactly stick to that, but we didn't, go out either. So we didn't party it up. But we did stick home a lot, rested a lot, stuff like that. Again, like I said, I wasn't out a whole lot, mainly because that whole dysphoria thing, the body being pregnant, I just didn't really want much to do with it. And if you are D.I.D and you've been through this, don't feel guilty about that. That's the dysphoria. It's like, of course, I was happy for the baby and to be pregnant. And at the same time, there is that disconnect with the body, like, it was pretty bad. So it's very confusing to go through. It's sort of a mind flip. So it's very confusing to go through. Anyway, so we went through the pregnancy. Pregnancy went all right. And I felt this way with all 3 of them. I've had 3 babies, pregnant with 3 babies, had 3 babies. I actually was pregnant 5 times, had 2 miscarriages, and then 3 babies. But anyway. So I did feel like that throughout all of the pregnancies, although by the third one, I think I came out a little bit more often, because by the third one, I was like a little bit more like knowing what was going to happen, the process, you know, just all that kind of stuff. So, which was our boy, so our youngest, which you have not seen him on YouTube because he's not 18 yet. So let's see. So that's the way I felt through all 3 pregnancies, or most of it anyway. And then after the baby was born, so I'm going to go back to when our first was born. After the baby was born came things like breastfeeding and, you know, just certain, it's changing diapers and stuff. And I'm like, of course I'd rather change a diaper than breastfeed. But anyway, so it came all of these other things. And again, you love your baby. So, I mean, I love all 3 of my kids, but there was still there was a connection to the child, but there was also a disconnect from motherhood, if that makes sense. Like, I knew the baby, you know, the babies are our babies and came from my body, but I identified more like a dad than a mom. And so that was, you know, it was very confusing, to say the least. It basically is what I'm saying. And I was the one with the strongest feelings of that. Like, everybody else was fine. Like, Andy was fine. He didn't have any problems coming out and taking care of the kids, breastfeeding, doing all of that stuff. He didn't have a problem with that. The girls were all ecstatic. Our host at the time, Diva, she was, you know, of course, female and was out the most often then. So there was, you know, a lot of other people in our system. More than that, there's Dove, who's literally a caretaker of littles in our system. So there's a lot of people in our system that would come forward and just lavish on our children with lots of motherly love and motherly comfort, and didn't have issues with that. I'm only like 1 out of like 20 people in our system, 20 to 25 people. I'm only 1 out of those that felt this powerful dysphoria come forward. So it's just this strong of a dysphoria. I had it the worst. Andy experienced it a little bit through the pregnancy, but it shortly ended for him after the baby was born. Or babies, all 3 of them. So anyway, I'm the one who went through the most powerful dysphoria through the whole process. So it's basically, when I did talk to my therapist about it, you know, she basically made it, I can't remember exactly anything she said in particular, but I remember her letting me know, basically, don't worry about it. You know, with me identifying as male, well, now we do identify as transgender because Dax is host now, and he's also male. But anyway, she related it to being transgender, and that basically, if it would be similar to what a person that through the gender dysphoria would go through. And I think that's about the first time I even heard the term gender dysphoria, and that was back in my late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, so that was the first time I heard the term and got familiar with it, and yup, definitely have struggled with gender dysphoria my entire existence with this body. As he got older, you know, after the babyhood thing, I think I knew ahead of time that there was going to be a day where my child, well, I'm going to go back to when I had my firstborn, when she was going to say mama or mom or whatever. And of course you want your baby to talk and call you mama, dad, you know, etc. And I think the first time I actually heard her say it, and it was me, Ash out, you know, me as an Ash, that it was me out, I was a bit stunned, actually, to be honest. I was a bit stunned. I was like, okay, so that just happened. So I was a bit stunned, even though I knew to expect it, that it was coming. And then I want to say, though, over the years, you get used to it. You really do. You get used to it. Like now, the kids call me mom, and I'm like, yeah. You know, like I don't think anything of it now. So that part does go away after a while. It's, you know, maybe not the gender dysphoria part, but some of those other things, like being called mom, getting used to being a mom and getting adjusted to motherhood or fatherhood if you're in the reverse, like if you're, you know, yeah. So if you're like a female person inside of a male's body and you guys are you have fathered a child, so it's, I can, anyway, so it's, it is, basically my therapist said it is quite normal to go through, and she also did point out, like, how everybody in my system is very, very caring and loving of, you know, the children, and was always there, and had no issues or problems like I did. So she made it sound very almost like normalized, like, you know, it's okay, it'll pass, it'll be all right, and everything. And in time, you do get used to it. Like, I had to say, the first time it happens, when that child calls you mama, it might still stun you, you know, it might, even though you're expecting it and you're getting there, you're even working on the children's speech to encourage them to talk, etc., etc. You know, it's still this whoa, you know, a little bit of a blowback the first time it happens. So I was stunned and I smiled at the same time, and I was like, all right, well, here we go. So it's official, I'm mom. That's the way it is. So anyway, it was, like I said, the biggest struggle that I had with dysphoria and pregnancy, babyhood, and early stages of motherhood was just that, the very early stages. I think by the time that my oldest reached like year and a half, 2 years old, and by that time I've already had my other two kids. By the time she was around that age, I had already gotten quite accustomed to it, because now I had two kids going on a third, both calling me mama. So you get adjusted. And it also, I think, like, a part of it was I have less to relate to with the baby than I do when they slowly got older and they were able to play with more toys and watch movies, and, you know, just like I had more fun with them sitting around watching like Harry Potter and, I don't know, when they were like 5, than versus the whole babyhood, breastfeeding and teething and all that. So I had more fun with them. Personally, I had more fun with them as they got older. And just more interactive. So could play with toys, could do more things. I could take them out to a park, push them on a swing, and, you know, all of that stuff. So, you know, anyway. Let's see, were there some, trying to think if there's anything else that I'm leaving out or could cover about dysphoria, parenting, motherhood, all that. I think I covered everything I can think of. So regardless if you're a D.I.D system or not, if you have more questions for me, please feel free to post them below. If there's enough questions gathered up, then maybe I'll do a part 2 of dysphoria, D.I.D, and debunking the whole D.I.D and parenting. Yeah, so post any questions you may have below for me regarding that dysphoria and babyhood, early motherhood, etc. So I think that's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.